Information in this broadcast is not intended as an investment, tax, or financial advice. Matthew Moore is not a licensed investment advisor and speaks solely from his experience and opinions. All information in this broadcast is for entertainment or educational purposes only. Matthew Moore, Causeway LLC, and Cox Media Group Tulsa are not responsible for the success or failure of any person's investment decisions or purchases. Matthew Moore, Causeway LLC, and Cox Media Group Tulsa makes no and expressly disclaims all representations, warranties, and guarantees with respect to this broadcast and its sponsors. Investing in any market is inherently risky and can be financially dangerous. Invest at your own risk.
Gather knowledge in the world of cryptocurrency right now on 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's news and talk. Welcome to Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore. Matthew is locally based right here in Tulsa. Questions, comments, concerns? Call 918-460-5764 or send us an open mic using the KRMG app. Now, here's Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore.
And good Sunday evening to you. My name is Russell Mills, and this is Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore. Thank you very much for tuning in. We sure do appreciate you spending part of your Sunday with us. It was a beautiful Sunday out there today in Tulsa. We are live and local, if you can't tell, and this is the show where we talk about, NFTs and blockchain technology and all that stuff that may sound a little scary, but increasingly, more and more people, and now even entire countries, are turning to it as not only a new form of currency, a new form of savings, but also a hedge against inflation and other scary stuff that's out there. We've got a man who can guide us through the labyrinth of cryptocurrencies and get us to the other side safely and hopefully a little wealthier, a little wiser. Please welcome our host, Matthew J. Moore. Hey, Matt.
Hey, thanks, Russell. I want to welcome all you crypto newbies, lovers, and experts. This is Oklahoma's hotspot when it comes to cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. And, as we were talking in studio earlier, in my opinion, Bitcoin is hope. And the opportunities that it has to offer, the ideas that it presents, are quite fascinating. So you want to buckle up, stick around, keep that radio dial to this show because we're here to educate, we're here to keep people safe, but most importantly, we're here to do this with the right people at the right time. And you know what? Despite the lackluster performance of cryptocurrency in the last week, Bitcoin is still up 164% from a year ago. And there's only one thing that has outperformed this asset class in the last year, and that's my friendship with my loyal co-host, Eric Cooper. Eric, how has this week treated you?
It's great. We actually closed on our new house. We've been building for a year, and it's done. So we started moving in. So I've been doing a lot of physical labor, so that's always good. But you're right, Matt. When I think about it, it's like any picture. If you zoom all the way in, you're going to see little brush strokes, dots, etc. But if you zoom out, you get to see something amazing. You get to see a work of art, a lot of effort, and that's what's going on. I mean, if you zoom out, 164%. I'll take that every day of the week.
Yeah, when in doubt, zoom out. And Eric, cryptocurrency and our friendship are not the only thing setting records this year. Even our federal government has been setting records. We've been on a record pace to devaluing our dollars, offering you, the consumer, the privilege of buying less and less with your paycheck. With official government inflation numbers now at a 40-year high at 6.8% in November, which, keep in mind, does not include food or energy, which it probably should, because we know that those things aren't getting any cheaper either. Mm-hmm. How do you make sure your paycheck buys the same amount of goods it did last month or even last year?
It's a good question, Matt. On today's show, we're going to have a special guest who might be able to give us some strategy on this specific matter. His name is Paul Bradley, and he's the COO of a company called Hedge, and which I might add is our new sponsor as of today. So pretty excited, and we're going to have Paul coming on here and supporting us, and as we get to have a cool sponsor that we support too.
That's right. That is correct. And I'm excited to chat with him in segment 2. I think this is going to be a wonderful partnership with them. And we know that the guys over at Hedge are breaking new ground and setting trends in the cryptocurrency space. But speaking of trends, I wanted to take the time to speak with a friend of ours who is actually in studio with us now. His name is Abe Cruz, and he recently just got back from Latin America and witnessed firsthand what crypto adoption can look like. Abe, welcome to the show, my friend. Please introduce yourself and let the audience know what you do.
Well, thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm super pumped up. I'm excited about it. I was in Colombia specifically, so it's a completely different world out there. But my name is Abe Cruz, and I am the CEO and founder of Forever Faith. And I absolutely believe in cryptocurrency.
So Abe, you're down in Colombia. And
yes.
Share a couple of things like cryptocurrency in use down there.
we were at a crypto cafe, and I was pulling out my wallet to pull out some Colombian pesos.
Yeah.
And my buddies there, they're like, no, this is a crypto cafe. What's your wallet?
Gotta
You
pay with
got
the coin.
you're paying with your coin. We're paying with Bitcoin. We're paying with Ethereum,
awesome.
Shiba. Like, it's full-fledged daily. They're using it. They're
Is
sending
there like
it
a
like
menu of which coins we take?
Absolutely.
on the
Up
wall?
on the
There
wall,
you go.
there's a bunch of coins on the wall, and that's how you know you can use it.
Love
so
it.
absolutely.
So is Bitcoin Bitcoin?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
I just wanted to ask that question.
Yes, and Abe does speak Spanish, so
Sí,
right?
claro,
Yeah.
claro.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, so why is it, do you think, that Latin America is embracing things like cryptocurrency faster than the rest of the world? Because we've got countries like El Salvador that have made it legal tender, and we got Brazil talking about
Venezuela.
it. Yeah,
Venezuela
yeah.
is,
I think Venezuela, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think they announced that they are officially using SHIB as their currency.
Wow, I didn't catch that one. I have to read it.
Yeah. So, but Latin America, to answer your question, I think that everyone wants to be ahead. And they're understanding this is an opportunity where you could take a normal person or a normal country that would be considered in poverty and have an opportunity to flip the script now.
Yeah.
A normal person can survive and do more things. So
Right. And then primarily maybe the abuse of the currency or monetary system of that country maybe has really, they've witnessed it more firsthand than maybe us in America, even though our system is not on a good track. But, it's kind of like, what's the cleanest shirt in the dirty laundry bin? You know what I mean? And so if your shirt's dirtier, you're going to be more motivated to adopt cryptocurrency.
And obviously with regime changes quite often, that's it's pretty abused. So
Right. Well, okay, so you recently sent me a video of you walking around through some kind of metaverse with some kind of wormhole that went back to the real world.
Yes.
What was that?
So the metaverse, right? We're going to have, you already know, Facebook changed their name. And I knew this way, way before. So when I was in Colombia, Landian is another metaverse where we're actually going to have a Forever Faith store, a virtual reality store where people can go in virtually and pay with their cryptocurrencies, through NFTs. So that wormhole was taking you into another dimension of a metaverse. And I mean, it feels like you're right there. And that was just a simple iPad.
Right.
But the technology that they have, they told me that everyone from Dubai and Israel is coming to Colombia.
That's awesome.
wow.
The developers, the IT, and I'm not an IT person, but I'm learning and I'm understanding.
That's so cool. That is
Yeah.
so cool. So, where can people find out a little bit more about what you're doing? Because I mean, eventually I want to have you back on next week to talk about all the stuff you're doing.
So they can just Google Forever Faith, and I type in that word Forever Faith, foreverfaith.com, the Abe Cruz, and that's going to take everything in the cryptocurrency market and our company and everything that we're doing.
All right. Well, Abe is going to stick around in studio with us, and we'll bring him back next week, like I said. But we want to talk more about what he experienced in Latin America next week, and when it comes to this cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. I mean, if you're kind of confused, don't worry about it. This is the place. I want you to tune in every Sunday at 5, and we're going to explore the cutting edge things that Abe is doing in his own life and business, because he has tokenized his business, which is kind of a cool concept.
Do we have Oklahomans with their company tokenized?
I'm sure there might be, but I think you're the first one that I heard of. So yeah. I mean, it's definitely a trend that's starting to take place, and I think we're going to see more and more of it. And you're leading the way.
Let's go. Let's go.
But yeah, so we got a full plate today, and the crypto frenzy will no doubt continue. But Abe, just before we go to break here, explain this idea. What is tokenization? How are you tokenizing your business?
So Forever Faith has a number of different products and services. We have clothing, we have supplements, we have jewelry, we have a book that shares the entire story of how it created. Now, traditionally, you pay with your US dollar, right?
Yeah.
Well, now you can actually go to our website and transfer that USDT, and you could transfer it into Bitcoin or Shiba or Daisy Coin, or I recommend Forever Faith Coin here.
Right.
But now I will accept those. You can buy my products through those coins. So it's there. It's happening all over.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And Abe, I'd actually encourage you to come check out our next Bitcoin meetup here in Tulsa. And if you're listening to this show, you can meet Abe. You can ask him questions about his business. But next Bitcoin meetup is at the 473 Bar and Backyard, which is 2224 East Admiral Boulevard, Tulsa, Oklahoma. And it'll take place on 7 p.m. And I believe that is on the 17th of this month. But be sure, just Google Tulsa Bitcoin Meetup. You'll see a Facebook group. You'll see an Eventbrite page and probably a meetup. So,
all right. Well, we got to take a quick time out, but meet us back up here in about 3.5 minutes or so, and we'll talk more about all the fun stuff that's going on. And by the way, Abe's got a really interesting backstory, so we may touch a little bit on that here over the next couple of weeks. You are listening to Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore. If by any chance you have missed an episode, shame on you. Shame. But it's okay. We've got it covered. You can get all the podcasts at krmg.com or on the KRMG app. Just look in the on-demand section, and we'll be right back after a quick timeout. You're listening to 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk. Welcome back to Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore. My name is Russell Mills. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Lovely evening in Tulsa. Got a nice warm-up coming this week. We are live and local, if you can't tell, and we're talking about cryptocurrencies and what does it mean for your life. Do you need it? I'll bet you want it. Here's a guy who can tell you how to get it, Matthew J. Moore. Hey, Matt.
Hey, thanks, Russell, and welcome back, Tulsa. You're here at the right spot, the hot spot for cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, and my favorite, Bitcoin. And you might be thinking, why does Bitcoin matter? Well, we're going to talk a little bit about that as the show goes on, but one thing that does matter is my co-host, Eric Cooper. Eric, welcome back, sir.
Always love it, Matt. We've been going, we were sharing with Abe, we've been doing this since late April, and we've got all of our shows up. Once again, Russell shared on KRMG On Demand. You can also check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google. If you Google Matthew J. Moore, cryptocurrency, pretty much you're going to find it. So check it out. It's also YouTube, Crypto More.
Right. And if you want somebody to hold your hand in this space, maybe you are new to this and you're like, hey, I want to be safe. I would like somebody to kind of guide me through. Just go to mattjmoore.com. You can set up a consultation. I'd be more than happy to help you. That's why we do this show. But in studio as well, still in studio today from segment one is our good friend Abe Cruz. Abe, are you excited to explore this idea of how to hedge your paycheck from inflation?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. I mean, you're kind of already doing that now by being in the crypto space.
Yeah, so. 100%.
I mean, technically, you're hedging your business. So,
hey.
100%. Yep.
All right. Well, on the line is Paul Bradley. He's the COO of a company called Hedge. Paul, welcome to the show. And I gotta say, this is the first time you're now a sponsor of Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore. But Paul, why don't you introduce yourself to share with the audience about what you guys do there over at Hedge?
Hey, Matt, I appreciate it. And congratulations. We're really excited to be here.
Love it.
My name is Paul Bradley. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. I'm a 20-plus year enterprise and embedded payments expert. You guys call that fintech. So it's very exciting to me. It's pretty boring to most people. And outside of that, I'm a dad. I'm a brother. I'm a friend and somebody who's just trying to make their way in this world. And I got lucky to be introduced to some guys in the crypto world. And I'm a black and white, pretty conservative guy, and things started clicking and making sense. And I thought, this is the path to go down. So at Hedge or gethedge.io, we were able to create a bridge between the banks and crypto. And what that looks like to us is a very easy way to what we call dollar cost average into the market, where you take a little bit of your paycheck and it automatically converts into cryptocurrency every time you get paid.
Wow. Well, speaking of being a friend, we were actually down at the Bitcoin conference when we ran into you, and I think it was our wonderful shirts that had asked me about our Bitcoin radio show. And in fact, Paul, did you come up to us? I'm trying to remember. Do you remember that?
Well, first of all, it was very unique. And second of all, if you're asking me to remember anything from a Bitcoin conference, that's a tall task.
I know. It goes by like a whirlwind, and it's a constant stimulation. But, Paul, let's start here. The name of hedge seems very appropriate for today, considering that inflation is really ramping up and people are losing the purchasing power of their paycheck. Why the name hedge? Does it have anything to do with this idea of hedging yourself against inflation?
It does. You've heard of the term hedge your bet. What hedge means to us at Get Hedge is essentially the everyday Main Street cat like you and me have had no chance to get closer to that money supply that the big banks and insurance companies seem to have no trouble attaching themselves to. So we hedge by creating a process that gives everybody equal footing with those guys, and we're really proud to be here.
Paul, once again, I appreciate you supporting Matt and I. Meeting you was obviously something that is exciting, and we want to partner with you to kind of teach people how difficult is this to really take a portion or even all of your paycheck and convert it into crypto.
Well, it had to be pretty simple or it couldn't be effective. So what we did was make it as simple as opening a bank account and saying, I want to get a little Bitcoin, a little Litecoin, and a little Ethereum, and maybe even put some in a stable coin. But it had to be very easy. So we made it a very similar process to opening a bank account. And that's actually what you're doing is you're opening a bank account. So your direct deposits can hit it, your 1099 pay, any kind of a electronic payment, accounts receivable, accounts payable, accounts receivable. The gist is you have the ability to now do what large corporations can do and automate a small portion of what comes into the fold for your family or for yourself.
So what would you say to somebody who would come at it, with an argument side and they're saying, the volatility of cryptocurrency, because we know that the dollar is steadily robbing us every month and year, but it's a slow bleed. For the average Joe who has to pay bills every month, they might not like this short-term volatility that they see in cryptocurrency. So one day you might be up 50%, but then the next day you're down 30%. How do you ease people's concerns on this matter? What's the strategy?
Well, there is a strategy. How do you ease their concerns? Well, you don't. You need to be concerned. It is a volatile market, and you need to acknowledge that. So the person who says, put everything you have in crypto and come live on an island, some red flags should go up. What we like to do is just take a small amount of something that you would be paying anyway. I personally make a sacrifice and don't go out to eat once a week, and I turn that money into crypto automatically through my budget. So there are ways to address the short-term volatility by having a strategy and a plan, not unlike the stock market. But these are longer time frames. And so if you are coming into crypto for get rich quick, ouch, you may experience some hardship. But if you come into it with this is the plan for how I plan to negate and hedge the inflation, and maybe I'm not getting a raise at work or all the other expenses that build up, it's a longer-term time frame. And when you need that money down the road, it will absolutely be there because it's engineered to be there.
Well, before we go to break, Abe, if you were on a payroll, or would you opt in to have either or a portion or all of your crypto or your paycheck in crypto?
Thank you for asking. He is helping people. Yeah. He is forcing them into success because the average person is going to spend their money, like he just said, at Outback Steakhouse and on a cheesecake. If they invested that money into some type of crypto, their life has improved instantly. They just need to wait for it.
Yeah.
So yes, that's a great job you're doing, Paul.
Yeah.
Thank you, Abe.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk more with Paul about how you can hedge your paycheck from government inflation. So stay tuned. We have more Hedgeducation coming in the next segment.
Hedgeducation.
Good gracious.
Wow, Moore hits one out of the park and it's gone. No, that actually made me giggle. Thank you. I need to giggle at the end of a long Sunday's a long day for me. Hey, you are listening to Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore on 102.3 KRMG. We are Tulsa's News Talk. And by the way, pretty sure the only game in town when it comes to live radio about cryptocurrencies in the state of Oklahoma and maybe in a good chunk of the country for that matter. So you came to the right place. Stick around. We're going to get you filled in on the news and weather. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore. I'm Russell Mills. Thank you very much for tuning in this evening. We have been talking about hedging. What is hedging? What does it mean to hedge? Well, it means to kind of cover your bets. Have a backup plan, have some safety. And we know the world of finance can be a little scary out there. So maybe a nice, stable something that you know you can count on for years to come, right? And that's how a lot of people are looking at these cryptocurrencies. Let's bring in our host. He is the guy who got me interested in all this stuff, Matthew J. Moore. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Russell. Thanks. That's right. Well, you think it's a little bit by osmosis that
a little bit, but you know what? I'm just, as soon as somebody said to me, look, you know what inflation is, yeah? Your money loses value every year, yeah? Always has, yeah? This stuff's gaining value. So how about spend the money that's losing value and save the stuff that isn't? And that just made perfect sense to me.
Right.
You know, so yeah, I'm an older guy, but I look at that and go, well, that just makes sense.
Right. Yeah. Gresham's law. You know, yeah. The more valuable it is, you hang on to it. You spend the less valuable. But one thing that is valuable is my co-host Eric Cooper here. Eric, welcome back to the show.
I love the swing. It's exciting. But you're right. We've had a lot of great people. One is Abe Cruz, fresh from Colombia. Abe, thanks for joining us today, man.
Thank you guys for having me. Truly, it's a blessing. Thank you.
And our main guest today is the COO of Hedge. Paul Bradley is with us today, and Paul is now him and Hedge are now a sponsor of us. So that's exciting. Paul, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Now, Paul, if a person or a company is going to utilize the Hedge products and services, do they have to be a tech and crypto genius to do this, or is this pretty simple for them to just knock it out with the tutelage and education of the Hedgecation from your crew?
Tutelage, nice. There are two answers to that. One is, no, you don't have to be savvy at all. It's all self-contained, and you just need to fill out a few forms on the internet, make sure you are who you say you are, and the rest is really easy. But the other answer is, if you are pretty advanced and have multiple wallets and hardware wallets and roll with DeFi and have your different platforms, you can route these directly to those accounts as well. So it can be as simple as you need it to be or as complicated and diverse as FinTech allows it to be.
Paul, I got a question for you. This is Abe. I love what you're doing, by the way, because you're truly leading people to success. So the question is, what do you think is the biggest hurdle for companies when it comes to using crypto as a form of payment?
So the answer to that is, in the United States, different than Latin America. Right now, the U.S. dollar rules the roost, right? So the reality is it would be really easy for these companies to begin accepting crypto, but then they get converted to U.S. dollar where all of their accounting and back office platforms work. And in the U.S., we have a lot of consumer protection. So I don't want to throw a wrench into the wheel there, but it kind of works as it is. There are a lot of crypto debit cards because once you spend crypto, it's gone. It's like paying in cash. But if you can convert your crypto and fund a debit card, then you have all the consumer protection built in and all the fraud is reduced. So the advantages are really for the merchants to accept crypto, but it's really in the consumer's best interest that they don't. How's that for an answer?
Well, Paul, you and your team have mentioned this idea of Hedgecation, and I said it earlier. You guys obviously want to bring the crypto to the masses. Why was partnering with us a good way to do this? Do you think that radio can play an important part in this? Because I've got my opinions, but I would love to hear yours.
Well, you guys are very unique in the sense that you have an audience in pretty much one of the ripest places in the world to utilize cryptocurrency and find the advantages. You don't have the huge overhead like New York City, and you have an audience that generally wants to learn and tunes in to listen to the latest and greatest to educate themselves now. So we love your market. We love what you guys are doing, and we're so excited to be part of it.
Yeah, it's kind of like, casting a wide net there because, the YouTube and podcasting is great. But at the same time, you kind of either got to search those things out or the algorithm has to know that you might be interested in it. But, if you're just sitting in your car listening to this show and you were just turning that dial and you heard the word Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, you might have been like, you know what? I've heard about that. I'm going to keep it here and listen. Maybe I'll learn something new. We're trying to bring it to the masses. And what better partner than Hedge?
Yeah, and Paul,
I've picked up some nuggets of information of all the years that I've driven cross country in sales, and you can very well reach somebody you have no idea you're reaching and change their life, and that's really, I'm excited for what you guys are able to do.
Yeah, Paul, we were talking a little bit off air. Obviously the paradigm shifts there. You can take money out for charities. You can do for your 401k. We're used to doing that. So with this shift, how do you feel that the adoption of crypto just in general will go compared to what we witnessed with the adoption of the internet?
Well, a lot of people tend to make apple to apple type comparisons. But the one piece I recognize immediately is as we built the internet, we had to build hardware. You had to lay LAN, you had to lay fiber optics, you had to build satellites. You had to build the hardware, and it took a decade or better. The hardware is in place. What crypto is software, and it changes at such a lightning pace. It continues to blow my mind how quickly it changes.
I know. I've got my head in this space. Like I'm listening to 4 or 5 hours of content a day. I just got the stuff constantly streaming, and I feel like I have a hard time keeping up with it. I mean, there's so many different niches of the space. It's just really fascinating. But for someone who has no cryptocurrency right now, what would you say to them?
Well, that's a good question, and I scratched my head, and the answer I came up with is understand a little bit what's going on now, because Bitcoin is a different language. You have to learn a little slowly over time. And dollar cost average, meaning taking a small amount of money and converting it and begin, as they say, stacking sats, that will go so far for you, and you won't even realize your $20, $30, $40 because you spend the money anyway. Our whole society does. So invest in yourself is what I tell them.
Well, and if you're listening to this program and you are curious and you want to talk to people in person, listening to podcasts is great, but connecting with people in real life could be beneficial. And we mentioned it earlier, and I apologize. I mentioned the date wrong. It's actually December 16th is our next Tulsa Bitcoin meetup. It's going to be at the 473 Bar and Backyard. Great place, 2224 East Admiral Boulevard, Tulsa, Oklahoma, and it all starts at 7 p.m. We're going to be talking about a couple of subjects that I think are fascinating, but I know, Eric, you're gonna be there, right?
I hope so. My daughter has surgery, and so as long as it's tonsils, so not too big. But Matt, the meetups. The reason why I like to be there and make them a priority is because, again, there's a conversation that you can have. So, I encourage you, if you're listening and you're really you've been listening to episode after episode and you've wanted to make a little bit of a dip, talk to Matt, have a conversation with him. There's no silly, any type of scenario, right? I mean, you've helped somebody recover Bitcoin
right.
That, was left by a loved one. Maybe you're talking with someone about, just their fears, because that's a big part of it is, just getting over some of those fears. And I promise you, if you have not purchased yet and you do it one time, it's addictive.
Right. And, and maybe, Paul, maybe we can make a time for you guys to show up in Tulsa sometime, and maybe we can have you be the center point of one of our meetups. Do you guys hold up any meetups there in Nashville?
We're lucky. We have a really good one here that is, have to wait in line. So
wow.
I have had the experience of some good ones, so I would love to share that with you guys.
Yeah. So what is the community like in Nashville? Do you have a pretty strong crypto community there?
we do, but it's kind of like crypto in the sense that where is it? Where is it? It should be here. Where is it? Oh, it's huge. I mean, it just sprang up and it's huge. And all of a sudden people are getting connected and there are world-class hedge funds down the street from you that you didn't even realize. And Nashville's popping in general, but the community it's alive. It's alive.
So, Paul, you guys are doing this obviously here in America. Are there any other countries that you're starting to work with to bring your platform to them?
Yes, I mean we are based out of the U.S., but we have a customer already in the U.S., in the UK, EU, that will be expanding into that region, and then also in Latin America, we're being pushed by people into that area. Just the demand is so great, and what we offer is a niche type demand, so it's exciting. A lot of banking conversations and a lot of beautiful people that I would never have gotten to meet or have these conversations without crypto.
And speaking of meeting, are you heading down to Miami again in April?
Yes, we are. It's really special to find a group that is dedicated to Bitcoin and crypto, and that's why you guys are special. That's why that place in Miami is special. It's just a way to get your message out.
You know, and I was going to ask Abe. Abe, you're here in studio with us, and did we get you hooked up with tickets yet to the Miami Bitcoin conference? Are you going to go to that?
It's in June?
Yeah. Well, no,
May
it's
this year.
It's in
no,
May.
it's April.
April.
Okay. Well, either way, it's in Miami, and yes, I would love to. I work closely with Telemundo and Univision, and
wow.
they already publicly started talking about everything. So it's live. Absolutely, I want to get out there.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, it's a great opportunity to network and meet like-minded people. I mean, the speakers are great, but to walk through that trade hall and have conversations with some of the top people in cryptocurrency, and if you're listening to this program and you want to go, you can get a 10% discount on your, I think it's like $600 tickets. Just go to mattjmoore.com, use promo code KRMG10. We'll hook you up.
Yeah, and by the way, those tickets do not get any cheaper as we get closer to the big Bitcoin meetup in Miami. No, they get more and more expensive. You are listening to Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore. We are talking with COO of Hedge. GetHedge.io is the website. Paul Bradley joins us today along with Abe Cruz, and we'll be back after a quick timeout. You're listening to 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk. Welcome back to Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore. I'm Russell Mills. Thank you very much for joining us. We're almost out of time, but we've still got an interesting conversation going. We're talking about maybe you should take part of your paycheck, put it into cryptocurrency. That's called hedging your bets, right? And so we're talking to the COO of Hedge. I'll let Matt introduce him. Matthew J. Moore is our host. Hey, Matt.
Hey, thanks, Russell. That's right. We are hashing out a wonderful conversation, no pun intended. But we are here to enlighten you, maybe give you some ideas, maybe consider looking into cryptocurrency. That's why we bring on people like Paul. But with me as well is my co-host, Eric Cooper. Eric? Say hello, buddy.
And more fun on a Sunday. And
That's
if
right.
you are listening, today we have Abe Cruz with us. Abe, welcome.
Yes. No, thank you, guys. I'm super excited.
I might need to hit the button. It's
There we
okay.
go. That
I'm used to
excited.
TV, guys. I'm used to TV. So.
Well, you got the face for TV, so that's good.
There you go.
Yeah.
Better than ours. And then also, Paul, welcome back. Thanks again for joining us today.
I appreciate it. I'm your radio man over here.
Well, so Paul, let's jump back here in the conversation. Your company's website is gethedge.io, and I noticed that you guys use this cute hedgehog as part of your logo. What's the story behind that little guy?
You know, it really just is common sense looking back, but we had the most complicated name for our product. It wasn't catchy. We're scratching our heads. We wanted something that everybody could relate to. The creative bunch of David Schwartz and marketing group came up with the idea of Hedge as a name, and I happened to mention it to my girlfriend over a Sunday brunch, and she goes, "Is your logo going to be a hedgehog then?" And it was like, "Oh, yeah, maybe it should be." And I told David, and he really wanted to name him Hal, in memoriam of
Hal Finney?
Finney, who we
Love
think
it.
was part of the original group, or maybe could have been Satoshi, but it's a feather in the cap for Hal. And so it's Hal the Hedgehog. And 3 weeks after the idea, it was on the back of a NASCAR and just running, and it was just one of the greatest things ever. So thanks for asking about Hal the Hedgehog.
You know what I love about your guys' Twitter is I think that's the pinned tweet that says running hedge, which is very similar to what Hal Finney did when he announced to the world that he was running Bitcoin. So that was kind of clever. I liked that.
Yeah, that's David. He's really in touch and really knows those nuances.
So, Paul, I'd be doing a disservice because when people listen to us, they want to see that number go up math. Do you still think that we're going to be rocking a bull cycle with another leg to go up, or what's your thoughts on that?
I'm a buyer. I'm not great, so that's why dollar cost average. I don't need to understand, because whenever I think about it, I make the wrong move anyway. So I just kind of fire and forget and check it in the headlines. But my heart is bull. I think we're still going.
It's good advice. And if you're in the space for 5 years or longer, there's a very high probability you're going to be in the green. So I personally think that we have much farther to go. And if we drop below 40,000, then I might be worried about going into a new bear market, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think things still look great. And what about you, Abe? You think the bull market cycle continues, buddy?
100%.
Yeah.
We're at like 17% of the world involved in this. So if you don't take advantage now, I'm sorry.
The party's still going.
Yeah.
I mean, it's about owning more crypto, owning more Bitcoin. And so, if the price drops, it's a discount, right?
Right.
That's what it. Paul, we love you and we appreciate you again. And where can people find you? Social and website one more time.
Well, it's mutual, and we're out there on Twitter at GetHedgeCrypto. I'm at Satoshi South on Twitter, and then our website is gethedge.io.
So Paul, before we close out the show, do you have any closing thoughts or maybe things we didn't cover that you might want to mention?
No, you did a really great job. I just want everyone to go investigate their choices, kind of digest what we've discussed about, and make good decisions for their family, because that's ultimately what it's all about.
Right. Real quick, Paul, how do I get my employer to sign up with you? Or can I sign up? Does my employer have to be signed up with you, or how's that work?
That's a great question. You just go to our site. We get that bank account information issued to you, and then you would either take that to your employer, HR, or just sign up through an app. But all they see is a bank account. There's no crypto associated with it. They don't have to do anything. This is all net pay, so there are no taxes. It's really clean. It's really easy, and I encourage you to give it a try. I'm at Satoshi South on Twitter. Reach out to me. I'm happy to help anyone and walk you through the process.
All right. So essentially what he's doing, folks, is, if you want part of your paycheck to come as, a Bitcoin or other cryptocurrency instead of cash, they can set that up for you. And it looks like a pretty simple process. Again, the website is GetHedge, all one word, gethedge.io. Matt?
That's right. Yeah. Abe, before we close out, do you have any final thoughts?
Today was just bringing everything to the surface and the light. It's incredible. I'm excited to be involved in this world right now, and I encourage everybody else to get involved.
Yeah, and I can't wait to dive deeper into your story next week.
Yes.
We hear the full story of Abe Cruz. But in the near future, you'll hear more from Paul and his team, because it is official. Our show is now a partner with Hedge. Keep tuning in to 102.3 FM every Sunday at 5 p.m. Central Time for your weekly dose of Hedgecation.
I love it. All right, you've been listening to Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore. I'm Russell Mills. A reminder, this week, the big Tulsa Bitcoin Meetup is happening. It's at 473 Bar. It will be on December 16th, and it starts at 7 p.m. Be there or be square. Aloha. I'm Russell Mills. We'll see you right here next week for more of Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore. Thanks for hanging out with us.